ideas, but we're going to take a spin around it a little bit this very morning to examine anti-people, some say anti, no? Okay, anti-people policies as we have it in the country. Why is it that sometimes you get various leaders of government and sometimes people who represent the people think of policies that really aim for the people? When I say aim for the people, they already know very well that this policy will not go down with the people. Historically, many of them have been passed over time. Think about the military era, whether we're talking about issues around Abuja stove, whether we're talking about structural adjustment program, easily known as SAP at the time. And the petrol scarcity, remove subsidy, don't remove subsidy, and the likes of that. Anti-people policies or anti-people policies, depending on how you prefer to examine it. And it leaves you with much to imagine day by day. Who thinks of these things? Who thinks of this positioning? One of the things I've heard over the years, and that's left me really troubled, is when it is said that we know Nigerians, they would always complain, they would always speak about the situation. And at the end of the day, they would all move on with their lives as if it doesn't really matter. They would always circumvent the problem or circumvent the policy and just move on with their lives, and it will not be cause for alarm in days to come. That's usually the popular saying, that in days to come, everybody will be fine. Or, let me say it the way we say it best, last, we'll go there all right, yeah? That's how it is said. Now, in recent times, some people have said, oh, well, the governors have taken, for example, the issue of the Naira. They've taken the policy around the Naira to the Supreme Court, and they're doing it because it favors them and supposedly favors the people. Some would say, no. There's a motive behind all of this. There's a motive that serves their interest. No politician is ever kind to the people they are leading. But trying to retrace this perspective yet again would be a little bit of what El Rufai said with regards to President Muhammadu Buhari, somebody he highly respects and has given kudos to so many times. Well, it's comment about the CBN governor. I'd like you to listen to this very quickly. Take a listen to this.
To discuss this. And our request is simple, and we are unanimous. All the 36 governors agree to this. That like every country in the world that has changed currency, let the old notes and the new notes be used side by side until such a time when all the old notes have been systematically drawn out of circulation. Nigeria is not the first country to do this. Saudi Arabia has changed its currency. For 7 years now, they still accept old notes. The only thing is that you'll never see the old notes come out of a bank. Even a trader will not give you change in old notes because they have printed enough of the new notes, and they are carefully and systematically withdrawing the old notes from circulation. The United Kingdom just got themselves a new king, King Charles. And they are changing their entire currency, from the coins to the notes. We'll all now have the picture, not of Queen Elizabeth, that has been there for more than 70 years, but that of King Charles. But from now to the end of time, if you go to England with a pound note with Queen Elizabeth, it will be accepted as legal tender and replaced with the new note. That is what every civilized country has done. Why is Nigeria doing this differently if there is no hidden agenda? Why are we expected to change 3 trillion in a matter of weeks?
This is Morning Crossfire.
That's the viewpoint of the Kaduna State Governor. And yes, it will surprise you. Yes, as we would have it, The governor of Rivers State, who is in the PDP, also agrees with him. In fact, the way things are playing out, 36 state governors all seems to be in the same line of thinking with the Kaduna State governor. Okay, here's what Nyesom Wike also had to say about this.
This is Morning Crossfire.
Commend the Nigerian Supreme Court for what they have done today to save the masses of this country and to save democracy. Today, the Supreme Court has stopped Central Bank of Nigeria from embarking on stopping the old Nigerian notes by 10th of February. And let me commend my brother states like Kogi State, like Kaduna State, like Zamfara State, who took it upon themselves to go and challenge the federal government at the Supreme Court. I also want to say Rivers State government will join them in that suit to challenge what the CBN is doing. We will not support anything that will do against the masses.
This is Morning Crossfire.
Against the masses. Anti-people policy, as we would easily call it, being created. How does anybody think or conceive that? How do you represent a people and yet create chaos, as I would describe it, as one would find? Many of the banks, are not going to be opening up in the next few days for best reasons known to them. And of course, because of the fear of being lynched and being attacked by poor people, and by people, poor, everyone is literally poor right now. If you can't access the funds you own or supposedly represent, then you're poor. So what do you do? Let's take some calls from you. 0700-951-0000. You can also join in on 080-9597-4869. And yes, on WhatsApp, it's 080-999-30137. Sometimes it starts out as in the interest of the people, but the moment the people say this does not serve our interest, what do you do? Do you hold on? Do you hang in there? And do you do it against all odds? Good morning to you. Welcome to the show.
Good morning, world class Dr. Femi D. MLA. I remember humble sir, but Bakar Ali, I'm calling from PW Kubwa.
You're welcome.
You say I make you laugh, but I will continue to make you laugh. Well, let me not take much of our time. Let me start by saying, you say, is it for people's interest or not? Mr. Femi D. MLA, there is absolutely nothing a human being will do without interest, whether for himself or for somebody. So that has answered that. Number two, whether the policy is anti-people or not, there's nobody that will say this cashless policy is an anti-people's policy. But the velocity with which the central or federal government is going about the enforcement left a lot of us with, to want to ponder or even think that there is something sinister, there is something treacherous attached to it. Governor El-Rufai, in his magnanimity, has reeled out the history of several nations and the time it took them. But for the CBN governor to be moving with 1,000 miles per hour in order to enforce the order showed that the cabals are up to something. And let me tell you, Mr. Femi D, as I've always said, I'm engaged in door-to-door campaign, and the feelers and the pulse of people I'm feeling is very, very assuring and reassuring.
Okay.
A lot of them have understood where those people are going, and we are going to show them when it comes February 25th. Thank you for the wonderful opportunity.
Thank you as well. Ifeanyi Ifeko says, good job, my sweet brother. Simbo Badmo says, we know they see face, now hands with they see pressing button. Okay, that's him there. Simbo Badmos also says, Wiki has made his viewpoint known. Dr. Mrs. Olebara from Owerri says, any leader with bad policies against the populace and surrounded by sycophants will never make progress in the administration. Any leader with without direction, it's a colossal failure. We have leadership. Any leader without, then we have a leadership deficit across board, and people are being overled. People are not willing to develop capabilities and capacities before jumping to driver's seats to lead. We must get it right this 2023. Femi, please go to Ekiti, say Simple Badmus to contest for governor so that the people of the state can get good governance. I don't know much about Ekiti State. It's not something I'm proud of, but how do I, for example, would lead people that I will get to know more about? Okay, but hang in there. Let's go on a break, and when we do come back, we'll talk more right here on Electable Ideas. Nothing breaks the news like the news. Trust me, I can prove it. I do it every morning on Morning Crossfire from 5 a.m. to 9 a.m. on Nigeria Info 95.1, and I'm Femi D. Amede. Join the biggest conversation around the national politics every day in a way that is trustworthy, full of passion, and yes, covers the biggest politics and the stories that matter to you. See, you have all the reasons to find out what's going on in Nigeria and be engaged differently. Let's talk. That's the way to go, even this morning.
is Nigeria Info.
Hey, that is Stay True. Good morning to you. Welcome to the show. Good morning. Good morning. Welcome. Oh, dear, that's not holding forth. Let's try another line now. Good morning. I barely could hear you, my dear friend, if you can still hear me. Good morning.
Good morning, doctor.
Yes, good morning. Good.
My name is Musa.
All right, Musa, welcome to the show.
Yes. Let's just ponder and ask ourselves question. Why is it that it's the opposition who are celebrating this CBN policy? Because those of us, yes, the opposition seems to be the ones celebrating this policy. Are they happy that majority of Nigerians are suffering? You are going to withdraw 5,000, you pay 500 naira. At times, even they ask you to pay 1,000 naira from POS. So and they appear to say that it's only one party that is involved in vote by Tinubu vote by. I mean, we have heard that even Labour Party, if they are going for a campaign rally, they pay 20 million. They did in Taraba, where the money was diverted. They did in other places. So
sorry, do you mind taking that back? Hold on for a moment. You just made an allegation, and I just want to hear you properly. They paid 20 million for what exactly?
Listen.
I am listening to you. That's what I'm asking you.
Majority of those callers from a particular region to deceive you. Femi, you are a professional.
My Oga.
What happened?
Hold on now. Why you hold on? I didn't hear what you said, and I'm asking you to repeat yourself. That's all I'm saying.
I am saying that every party, nobody do politics without money.
Okay.
Every party is involved in this money thing. So it's like particular people from a particular region keep on saying that it's only Tinubu that is preparing to buy votes, and that's why. And Tinubu appeal was just compassionate about the suffering of the ordinary Nigerian. I am sure even you sitting down in that studio, you have attempted to withdraw money within this period. You can see how difficult it is.
Okay. So can I take you back a little bit now?
I'm not saying that why is opposition celebrating it? Why
Hello,
are they
sir.
celebrating it?
Hello, sir. Hello, sir. Can I, oh dear. That's the part. This is a perfect example of what happens when you don't listen. I had Taraba State. I had 20 million. Labour Party paid money. And I was just barely asking him to repeat what he said, just to be clear on what he had said. But, this is what happens when you're preemptive sometimes. And people say sometimes we're tough on callers. But when people do not want to listen to questions, you're talking and we're asking you to just listen for a moment. It says a lot about who you are, and if there's sometimes one wonders about the decency level in which you exhibit when you do call.
Hello, good morning.
All right, good morning.
Good morning, Femi, and good morning to all Nigerians. Hope it's my name.
Okay, welcome.
Femi, please, I want to participate in debate.
You can't, if you tell me I can't do anything about it unless you send an email, Lokwi. All right?
Okay.
Yes.
I will do that.
Yes.
I will do that.
Mm-hmm.
Please, I think you said that they will sack elect in Lagos. Are you hearing me?
Yes, that they should sack the wreck in Lagos.
You forgot the Lagos vote. It's not for him.
Okay.
He can't even get 2% there.
All
You
right.
forget about Lagos vote. Thank you. Have a nice celebration.
Okay, that's all he wants to say. All right, let's listen to more calls. Good morning to you. I'm glad you joined in. Anti-people policies. Is it some of the moves that one would consider electable as an electable idea? Good morning to you.
Good morning, Dr. Femi.
Good morning. How are you today?
Fine, thank you. And how are you?
Oh, good. What's your name, sir?
My name is Bashir. I'm calling you from Gwarimpa.
Bashir, welcome.
Yeah, thank you. Regarding the policy that has the entire nation in some sort of chaos, I feel it is a policy that, when you're talking about some political parties being in support of it and some not being in support of it, I feel, it is generally, if you look at it from the outside, it is a good policy, the Naira redesign, because I myself have been a banker, and some of my colleagues are telling me that you see people bringing in deposits just before the January 31st deadline. You'll see somebody bring 30 million, 50 million deposits in minted currency, the old currency. So somebody will keep mints that he has never used in his house. When you're meant to have invested that money in something else, so there's a lot of gray area in it. You can't say this is a good policy or a bad policy. I believe the political parties that have questioned that have said the policy is a good one and the CBN should not go back on it. I think they are doing it because looking at the implications it could have, government making a policy and then working back on it. That's number one.
All right.
And then number two, it is a problem of implementation, not the policy itself.
Not the policy itself. All right.
Yeah, maybe it requires more time and some logistical issues and everything. But in itself, it is a good policy. Just that it has been poorly implemented, and there hasn't been coherence on the part of the government.
I agree with you.
The finance minister will say she doesn't know about it.
Yes, that did play out.
The CBN governor will say that. If there was more coherence in the policy and in the implementation, it would have been an excellent one, and with proper sensitization and communication with.
Okay, all right, Bashir. Let's leave it at that, dear friend. Okay, thanks for your call. Okay, grateful. Please keep calling. Okay, I presume this is your first time, right?
This is my first time.
Yes, I thought that's much. Thank you so much, dear friend. Okay, it's good to meet you.
Thank you so much. Yeah, you too, sir.
Thank you. Isaac Yokaya on Facebook said, good morning, Femi. Keep the good work going. Joseph also, Pankshank Joseph says, well done job, Femi D. Good morning, Femi. Please, what's the update on the old notes? Will the old notes still be legal tender come after 10th of February? I'm confused. Francis is asking that question, and the only answer I would have for you is when 10th of February comes along tomorrow, we'd have to wait around to understand where the briefing stands on that. There either has to be a briefing or completely everybody just forms, let's see how this thing goes, and just keeps quiet, JJ, and really see the real what's going on. Tim Chokwe Gundele on YouTube said, from many of the filling stations in Abuja, they're not collecting, they are not using POS, they demand cash for fuel and for cashless economy. Where are we now? Kende Shola on YouTube said, it's not an allegation. Which party gets venue for campaign without paying for it? Now, that's true. Nobody gets campaign funding. I mean, don't get to use various venues without paying for it. That's been consistent. But all I just really wanted to understand was his perspective about the 20 million naira Taraba State thing. Okay, taking more calls. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. How are you today?
I'm fine, thank you. My name is Dale.
Welcome, Dale.
All right. So basically, I was going to talk about the anti-government policy. Like Bashir rightly said, the Bible says a house that is divided against itself will not stand. I feel we have a very stubborn CBN governor. I don't know if I can say that word. Initially appears to be stubborn because I see no reason why the Minister of Finance wasn't carried along when the new Naira policy was implemented. Because you feel you have direct access to the president and you feel you're on top of the world. If these policies were ironed out properly, if they they had counted their costs, if they looked at, what are the positive area that this new currency will benefit Nigerians? What are also the negative effects that are also going to affect Nigeria? If these things were looked into properly, I don't think we'll be having these issues. So when other agencies come out to oppose this policy, it's because it has been poorly implemented. It has been poorly implemented, and people who are innocent are the ones suffering. They are the ones suffering. I told you about my experience the other day at the bank when I went to collect money.
Yes.
Bankers were looking for money. When someone came to deposit 3 million naira, all the bankers they were all rushing to get that money from their colleague. So just imagine if this policy was well implemented, we won't be
will be different.
It's really appalling. It's really appalling and sometimes annoying. I was really annoying yesterday, but I had to calm myself down because Alliance will not change anything.
Oh yeah, it will not be.
I hope these guys will listen. I hope they will listen and implement this policy very well. If I may suggest, can the old Naira notes and the new Naira notes, can we spend them concomitantly? Why the old Naira notes fits out? When it fits out, then we stay on the new Naira notes.
All right.
So that's my take. Thank you so very much.
Thank you so much, Dale. Thanks for your viewpoint on this. Keep smiling, okay? I don't like to see a sad face on you. Femi, we are behind the central bank with this policy. No more vote buying. Governor of Kogi State's nephew and others were arrested with 3 billion naira fraud. Why is it not on your news headlines? Babs Kuta had that was many weeks ago now. Babs, that's not new news. That was like almost 3 or 4 weeks ago because I talked about it on TV. No, that was on, and they said they had not done anything wrong or culpable of anything. That was the response from the government, and they also denied anyway. Initially, they denied having any family member involved, and later on, the FCC said it was related to the governor. But that was like 3-4 weeks ago, if not more. Yeah, surely more than that. Jonas Ojemba from Gogolada says 3 governors went to Supreme Court to challenge the federal government and the CBN. But was the government and the CBN represented in the suit? This is the beginning of another joke, Jonas Ojemba. And by the way, I've read about the response provided by the Attorney General of the Federation, Malam Abubakar Malami. Well, he had things to say about that, and he also had his own interpretation. One thing that's so interesting is even when the Supreme Court has spoken, everybody takes on to interpret much of what has been said. He has strongly advised the Supreme Court to dismiss the suits challenging that, dismiss suit challenging this very policy. Dismiss suit challenging ordinary federal government tells Supreme Court is one of the big stories. I think that made its headway into the likes of Daily Trust for today. So you want to read about that, you get to see more about that. And, well, maybe they're right, maybe they're not, but they put up such position with regards to this. We'll see where this goes in the days to come. Stay with us right here now, for that's it for Electable Ideas for me for today. Thanks for being part of it. Let's keep at it. Keep speaking, being casted for Electable Ideas for me for today. Thanks for being part of it. Let's keep at it. Keep speaking, being clear, and speaking with respect for each other and the respect for people who are listening in. Thank you so much. I'll be back to speak to the team from presuming the team from ALX in a short while. This is Morning Crossfire.